Hello everyone, my name is Lakshmi Bharti, student of journalism and mass communication. Today I will discuss about formal letter versus informal letter. I have a PPT on formal letter and informal letter, but before this I will describe what is formal letter and informal letter. So letters are a form of verbal and written communication which contains information or message sent by one party to another to convey the message. It is sent by one party to another to convey any message to someone. It provides certain important information, message. There are two types of letter, that is formal and informal letters. The formal letter is written for business or professional purposes with the specific objectives in mind. It uses simple language that can be easy to read and interpret. On the contrary, informal letters are written to friends and relatives for personal communication and use a casual or an emotional tone. A formal letter is any letter written in professional language with a prescribed format for a formal purpose. That is, it can be recommended action letter, inquiry letter, complaint letter, and so on. All business letters, cover letter are formal. Such letters are used for a variety of reasons like formal invitation, proposal, reference, making any complaint or inquiry, applying for a job. While writing a format letter, one should keep in mind some basic points. That is, it should be in specified format. It should avoid the use of unnecessary words. It should be relevant and objective. It should be particular and concise. It should be it should not be complex. It should be polite, even if it is a complaint letter. It should be true from in it must be free from any mistakes, that it can be grammatical or spelling error. There are three types of formal letters, that is business letter for outlying civic problems and job applications. Now discuss about informal letters. An informal letter is a letter written to someone that is we know fairly well. The letter can be used for some reasons like conveying message, news giving, advice, congratulate recipient, request information, asking questions, etc. It is a personal letter written to whom you are familiar with, like friends, siblings, cousins, or any family friend, parents, or any other closed one. There is no specific format prescribed for writing this letter. While writing an informal letter, one can afford to be friendly and make use personal or emotional tone. Slang or colloquial forms, quotes, abbreviation, etc. can also be used at the time of writing it. depending on the familiarity with the recipient to whom you are writing a letter, an informal letter, how much you are close to that person that they can understand your feeling with your abbreviated words or any kind of your writings. Now come to the PPT. So here first I have written what is letter writing. Letter writing is an important channel of communication between two people who are geographically distant from one another. In the earlier times, when the telephone and email were not available, the only means of communication between people was through letters. Letter writing is a skill that has to be developed. In general, there are two types of letters: formal, that are written to convey official business information, and informal, which are personal letters to communicate with friends and family. A letter is usually one in a series of exchanges between two people. We have to follow a specific format while writing a letter. There are different formats for both formal and informal. At this time, uh, today we in these days we can easily see formal letters, but not informal letters, because in a world of modernization, letter writing is very rare. But if we ask to our grandparents, they will uh, tell us about letter writing. In that time, they did not have telephones or mobile phones or any technological medium to talk. So they used to write letters. Formal versus informal language. When we write a letter, that any formal or informal, we must know about the language, in which letter we have to use which language. For formal letter we have to use formal language, and for informal letter we have to use informal language. So formal language often associated with written standard English conventions. It is it is signaled by complex, complete sentences, impersonality, avoidance of colloquial or slang vocabulary. Informal language is characterized by a simpler grammatical structure that is loosely connected sentence and phrases, personal evaluation, and a colloquial or slang vocabulary. Here, formal and informal speech and writing. So, use of connection, use of you can see here use of he. So you can see the use of preposition, use of relative, use of determiners. Now definition of formal letter and informal letter. A formal letter is a letter written to a business, a college, or any professional that are not considered friends or family. An informal letter is a letter you would write to a friend or family. Formal letter. When do we write a formal letter? To whom do we write formal letters? For what purpose do we write these letters for? These are the basic questions to understand what is formal letter better. So, format of a formal letter. First, your address. Second, the name and address of the person to whom you are writing. And third, the date. You will mention the date, at what date you are writing, and the greeting, the body of the letter, introduction, main parts, conclusion, and last the ending and your signature. Now rules for writing formal letters in English. Address, your address. The return address should be written in the top right hand corner of the letter, and the address of the person you are writing to. The inside address should be written on the left starting below your address. And then date. Different people put the date on different sides of the page. You can write this on the right or the left on the line after the address you are writing to. Write the month as a word. Now, salutation or greeting and ending a letter. Dear sir or madam, if you do not know the name of the person you are writing to, use this. It is always advisable to try to find out a name. Dear Mr. Jenkins, if you know the name, use the title Mr. or Miss, whatever, and the surname only. If you are writing to a woman and do not know if she uses Mrs. or Miss, you can use Miss, which is for married and single women. Ending letter yours faithfully. If you do not know the name of the person, end the letter this way, and yours sincerely. If you know the name of the person, end the letter this way. And the last, your signature. Sign your name, then print it. You think the person you are writing might not know whether you are male or female. Put your title in brackets after your name. Content of a formal letter. The first paragraph should be short and state the purpose of the letter, to make an inquiry, complaint, request something, or whatever. And the paragraph or paragraphs in the middle of the letter should contain the relevant information behind the writing of the letter. Most letters in English are not very long, so keep the information to the essentials and concentrate on organizing it in a clear and logical manner rather than expending too much. The last paragraph of a formal letter um, should state what action you expect the recipient to take to refund, send you information, etc. The style of formal letter in American US different from some aspect. This is not basically important for us, so leave it. Thank you.